Okay. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our virtual career fair here at Talent Search. I'm Hayden Smedley, and today I'm excited to introduce Mr. Jason Sloan. Today, he'll be sharing insights of what a typical day looks like for him in the field and why he chose and how he chose his career path. Stay tuned today for some very valuable information about what he does and inspiration if you are looking into the field of a conservation officer. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this discussion, so if you have any questions for Jason, please feel free to ask them at that time. We encourage you to ask plenty of questions and gain opportunity for deeper insights and your questions to be answered. Before we get started again, Jason, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule, out of your day. I know it's probably really busy, and your willingness to share your experiences and your career journey. It's greatly appreciated here at Talent Search. So again, thank you very much. And then I'll let you have the floor.
Well, first, I appreciate the opportunity. Anytime we can talk with the public, and especially uh, college students, then we're and high school students. We're definitely interested in getting some career paths heading forward. So, thank you again.
Welcome. I think you're trying to get your presentation pulled up, so I don't like the awkward silence. I'll make the Jeopardy noises so everybody can hear us.
All right, you want me to go ahead and pull it up?
Yeah, go ahead, go right ahead. I'll let
Okay.
you tell a little bit about yourself when we get started here, and ball's in your court now.
All right. All right. So obviously, he introduced me. I'm Captain Jason Sloan. I'm the regional commander for the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Law Enforcement Division. We go by a lot of different names. Game Warden is more commonly what most people know us as. And we've officially changed our title from Conservation Officer to Game Warden last year.
Okay, my apologies. I did not know
Oh,
that, but now it's good to
that's
know.
that's okay. My whole career, I've been a conservation officer, and it's we wanted to really go back to kind of our roots and our heritage. So most people know us as a game warden. So um, I'll try to refer to us as wardens. Occasionally, you hear me slip and say officer, but that's kind of the history. We've been called a lot of different things over the years, but so this little presentation just kind of talks about what we actually do for a game warden position, the job, and how you go about it, and it tells a little bit about what you do. So our first when you first get hired as a game warden, you start out as a game warden recruit.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of things we'll go through here. Obviously a little bit about me. I graduated from Morehead State University a long time ago. It's 1999, and I majored in science and biology. So I wanted to go to med school and really got interested in being a game warden. So I kind of took a detour, but it's been a great career. I actually started as a Kentucky State Park Ranger in 2000.
What park was you at? Don't me asking.
Yeah, sure. I started at Greenbow State Park. So I worked
Okay.
there for about 2.5, almost 3 years. And a job opening came open in Lawrence County for Fish and Wildlife. So I decided to try that. And I've worked for Kentucky Fish and Wildlife ever since. Um, Now, as like I said, I first was assigned to Lawrence County. I stayed there for about 3 years, and I was able to transfer back to my home county of Knott County, and that's where I've been ever since. I've been promoted along the way as a sergeant in 2011. It's a little bit different being a sergeant than actually being a warden on the road. The sergeants they have to answer calls too, and as well as supervise 3 or 4 officers or wardens. So you're kind of doing double duty when you start doing supervision. Then I was promoted to lieutenant in 2018. The lieutenant for us is similar to I guess, a lieutenant with the state police, other police agencies. They run the day-to-day operations of the district. So at that time, I was over 10 counties. The seventh district, which is Eastern Kentucky, which goes up to Lawrence County, east to Pike County, and down to Harlan.
Mhm.
And most recently in 2022, I was promoted to captain, which is the regional commander, which means I supervise the overall operation of 2 districts, which are 20 counties. And our Region 3 stretches as far west as Laurel County, east to Pike County, north to Lawrence County, and south to Harlan, and everything in between. So there are 20 counties.
That's a big part of the state right there. I mean,
It is. We've got five captains that cover the state, and one that does special operations. So we do cover quite a big area, and but I enjoy that. We get to work with several different wards across the state, as well as different communities and different sportsmen. So um, you'll hear me talk a lot about the sportsmen, and we're a little different than other agencies because our only funding comes from license sales, boat registrations. There's a small excise tax on ammunition and firearms,
mhm,
but the majority of our funding it's not from taxpayers' money, but it does come from license sales and boat registrations. So we truly work for the sportsmen of the state.
mhm.
Um, if somebody's interested in becoming a game warden, I would say almost say conservation officer, but I'm starting with that.
Old habits die hard, huh?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, you got to be 21 years old. That's part of the statute in Kentucky to carry a firearm to be a police officer. At this time, you just need to have a high school degree or a GED, a valid driver's license, because we're going to issue a patrol truck, and you don't have to have any experience. It's kind of weird. We'll hire more people that have no experience, and sometimes we may get two or three people in a class that are current police officers, whether they may work at a sheriff's department, a city police
Hmm.
officer, or other state agency. But for the most part, most of our people have no experience when they come to us. All state jobs, including ours, are advertised for 10 days on the Kentucky Personnel website. So you can just Google Kentucky State jobs, and we usually hire once a year. It's kind of weird with um, the game warden jobs. We have to send people through the police academy, so we really only do it once a year on a hiring process.
Hmm.
And I'll walk through a little bit of what you'll go through for a hiring process on this. But when we do advertise those jobs, it's usually about January. I'm not sure if we're going to hire this year. It may be first part of next year, but we'll advertise those on the Kentucky State Personnel Cabinet website for 10 days.
Okay.
So if you got any questions come up, just stop me. Like for our hiring process, like I said, we're going to send you through all kinds of training for nearly a year. It sounds like a lot of training, but we're going to pay you the whole time. So in the state of Kentucky, any police officer has to pass what's called the POPS test, and those are
Hmm.
physical agility tests. They're set in statute, and you can see on the screen here are all the statute, or here are all the tests that you have to pass, and this is before we even hire you. So we'll come out, usually set up at a YMCA or a local gym, and we'll have everyone that's applying. They'll have to pass these tests. Um, some of them gonna have to work at a little bit, to get in shape. They're nothing that's really hard. Now, the one at the end, the 100-yard swim, usually scares people.
I can't swim, so that scare me.
Yeah, if
I can do the
it's
rest,
something.
but
Yeah, it's something. Now, like I said, this is the minimum. So we're going in training. You're really going to get a week of survival swimming. So that's something for people to think about. Your how good you can swim, or how much you really need to work on it. So Um, but it's nothing you can't pass. These are all beginning level professional standards. Once you pass that, we'll do these other steps, starting with background investigations. Usually, headquarters will send me all the packets with the names, and I will assign wardens from across the state to do background investigations. So they'll come out, talk to all your friends, find all the juicy stuff on you. I always tell people it's so important to really do good, do well in school, and stay out of trouble, because when we do these background investigations, we go as far back as we can find, whether it's 18 years old So it's always very important, make sure you obey the law and stay out of trouble because it could come back to bite you on those background investigations. Next, we'll do an interview board. Usually consists of about 5 wardens from across the state, and it's just asking you. Most of the time, the questions are stuff like, how would you solve a problem using teamwork? A lot of our questions or initial questions don't really ask specifics about being a game warden because that's what we're going to teach you in that year of training. We're also, by state law, we're required to do a polygraph examination. They also do drug screens, psychological assessment, and then we'll send you for a medical exam. So they'll space these out. Really, the hiring process takes about 3 to 3.5 months to do all this. Now, once we hire you, now's the fun part. We're going to start off with our own Kentucky Fish and Wildlife boot camp. It's not really called boot camp, but we call it our academy. And no ifs, ands, or buts. It's very tough. It is very military
Wow.
based, like the military, kind of like the Marines. And it's because we want you to be ready. Once you're out there with the job, most of the time you're working by yourself. So we want you to be prepared to handle any situation. And from the people that have been through this part of the academy, I didn't go through it because it was a different academy years ago when I went through 24 years ago. So this is a type of academy that's been going on probably 10 or 15 years. So it is one of the most highly prestigious academies in the nation. It's 14 weeks. Most of the time we take place at Cave City. That's our training headquarters. We've got a barracks down there and a training facility.
Hmm.
We're gonna give you all the gear that you need to do your job. Um, and like I said, we're paying you while you're in this training. Midway through the academy, if you've never been through the police officer academy at Richmond, the Department of Criminal Justice training, about 6 to 8 weeks through our Fish and Wildlife Academy, we'll pull you out of that and send you to the Department of Criminal Justice training. I'll go on. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Some of the things I don't want to skip this. Some of the things that we do at the Fish and Wildlife Academy, um, you learn to drive a boat. A lot of people have never driven a boat before. We spend a lot of time during the summer, especially on the water. We're the only police on the water across the state, so it's very important we can operate vessels. We work boat accidents, drownings. We do hunter accident investigations. We'll teach you Krav Maga self defense. Water survival, like I said before, is one of the toughest weeks. If you've ever seen the Marines, kind of water survival,
Their
they go
swim
through.
tests they have.
It's very similar to that. We'll teach you how to defend yourself in the water, how to take care of all situations should you end up in the water, and that could be a deadly force incident if you end up in the water. So we want to make sure you're definitely up to speed on that. So there's a lot of things. We'll teach you all the fish and wildlife laws in there. It's a 14 weeks. It's a lot to go through. Like I said, then we're going to send you to 20 weeks at the Department of Criminal Justice Academy. Let me see. These are things, pictures we put together of at our Fish and Wildlife Academy. You can see the variety of things, and that's one of the things that pulls people to the career of being a game warden. There's police jobs out there like the Kentucky State Police, Sheriff's Departments, city departments, um, state park rangers, but ours is the most diverse. Like every day there's something different. So you'll never get bored of doing like one day I'll go out and work on the boat, maybe on Yatesville Lake and check for krill and size limits. The next day I may jump on a UTV and patrol Martin County Cove for elk hunters. And then the next day I may get asked to ride in the airplane to help document bait for turkey hunters. So there's never a dull moment with this job. So you can see a few things that we're going to do with them in the academy. The Department of Criminal Justice training, like I said, is 20 weeks. You're going to learn things specific to all police officers. Any police officer in the state of Kentucky, with the exception of Kentucky State Police, attend some version of the Department of Criminal Justice training. There are some opening across the state that do their own training, like Lexington Metro. I think maybe Bowling Green does their own training now. Um, so this is about 1 year you're going to be in training with us, and the entire time you're getting paid. So it's not all bad. You know, you're learning fun stuff and all kinds of great job aspects of the job. And so once you're out of training, then what are you going to do? Well, it's great because really this job has so many freedoms. You decide if depends on what season it is. If it's a hunting season like bear season, you can decide to go out and work bear hunting. Or if it's elk season, that's the area you want to patrol in. So every day's different, and then people fish year round. So
Hmm.
there's no time that it wouldn't be beneficial to be on the lake somewhere or the rivers. And those are our normal patrols. Now we also do other special details like the poker run. That's a huge event down on Lake Cumberland where tens of thousands of people come down there. And we're, like I said, we're the only police on the water. So we pull officers or wardens from around the state to come and help patrol that area. Um, we're Our main concern on the water is safety. We want everybody to have a good time on the water, but we want you to make sure you're safe and that you get to go home at the end of the day. We also work disaster assistance. Like the first one I remember is working the West Liberty tornado.
Ooh.
We, yeah, we spent 2 weeks there patrolling and a law enforcement. We were just being the police because at that time, Euro's local, the West Liberty police were, the whole area was devastated.
Hmm.
So we were there to keep people from looting, stealing, and we were just a security presence. We've worked at the tornadoes out in Western Kentucky. Uh, we played a huge role in the southeastern Kentucky floods of a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, we're bad.
Yeah, like I said, from the first minute we were sending wardens out, doing rescues, uh, doing safety checks on people, checking on make sure they're okay. Our wardens also work all drownings in the state that are public waters, with the exception of like swimming pools. And so during that flood, our wardens actually recovered. Um, Initially, I think it was 29 of the drowning victims, and we were responsible for doing those investigations. So we were very present during that flood, and even after that, we played a huge role search and rescue, delivering supplies during disasters. Um, I've even worked presidential security details with the Secret Service, things that you just never expect.
Never
Uh,
imagined you'd be doing.
I never thought that. And a couple of the other big details we do, our law enforcement officers are on contract with the Division of Forestry, so we help during forest fire season. They fight the fires and try to suppress the fires, and they contract us to do the investigation. So we try to put the bad guy in jail, whoever sets the fires. One of the one of the new details that I actually was working on today has to do with the Kentucky Trail Authorities. So adventure tourism is a huge part of especially Eastern Kentucky. And so our game wardens will be part of patrolling those for safety and compliance to the trails, some of those regulations and rules for the trail system. And so look for us to be, you'll see us on some of those trails doing that within the coming months. And it's a very flexible job. Like I said, we pretty much make our own schedule, what time we want to work and the days. But our supervisors ensure that the wardens are working at peak times so we can be out there for the sportsmen.
I think that's really good that you guys are doing like the ATV trails and stuff now. I believe that's some keep, it's kind of like the water. Everyone just needs to be safe. So I thought that was really good. You guys are introducing that. Is it beginning of the year or is that
So
like,
the Kentucky Mountain Trail Authority will start selling their permits in January. So we will start patrolling
In
sometime
January.
probably in January when they request us to.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, so this is all part of how diverse our job is. Like I said, you of all law enforcement across the nation, we are probably one of the most diverse, being a game warden.
Out of all of them, yeah.
So some of the things that we do on a daily basis, I always tell our wardens, hey, we're primarily two pronged. We do education and enforcement. So, on a daily basis, we may be working poaching cases where we're issuing citations, arresting violators. We just had modern gun deer season.
Do what?
The wardens have been
Oh,
very, very
watching.
busy doing investigations on deer cases and following up on that.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
big part of the year is, gun season, modern gun season, deer season in the state of Kentucky is a
it
very,
is.
I'm sure, a very busy time for you guys.
Yes, and one of the things a lot of people don't realize is we're sworn state officers with
Hmm.
the authority to enforce all laws of the Commonwealth across the whole state. We try to focus mostly on fishing, hunting, and boating, but we'll take care of whatever situation comes along, whether it's a DUI or a domestic violence call, whatever we need to do. And that's our main focus. A lot of people don't realize also we're also sworn deputy U.S. game wardens, so we can enforce federal fish and wildlife laws too.
I did not know that. I mean, I know you guys were sworn, but I didn't know you could, like, if there's someone breaking a federal fish and wildlife law, you can cite them or arrest them, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And
Okay.
some of the ones that we work with, the Migratory Bird Treaty Act
Hmm.
and the Lacey Act are the two big federal laws that we Lacey Act being any wildlife or animal that or it's wildlife that's taken, possessed, contrary to any state law, if it's transported outside the state lines, then it becomes a Lacey Act violation. And
Okay,
so,
I've heard of that one before. I think someone transporting a deer out of state lines, that's an issue.
yes, if they poach a deer in Kentucky and transport it across state lines, they've also committed a federal Lacey Act
Offense.
violation. Yes. And we also do a lot of we'll investigate incidents like hunting accidents. We call them hunting incidents now. I guess that's the proper term. We investigate boat accidents, just like the state police do car accidents. So our focus are boat accidents. Um, now, I also spoke about we do a lot of outreach and education. We represent the agency with lots of civic clubs, sportsmen's clubs, NWTF, local hunting clubs. So you're going to see us at a lot of these club events, doing events with kids and with the public. Um, we want to reach out to the community and spread. If you don't hunt or fish, we want to get you involved in it. So that's one of our ways. We do a lot of school programs, and this is one of our outreach for that. Um, a lot of the good. I've talked a lot about the good part of being a game warden. We also do a lot of paperwork. That's with any police job, documentation and reports.
That's
That's
the
not
boring part.
that's not the exciting part by far, but it is part of it. And I always want potential people that might be interested to understand, hey, there's a lot of this that you don't see. So it's not all exciting, but I tell the wardens, I said it's as important to do your paperwork as anything you do out there. And it is true. But we also operate different types of vehicles, like we assign everybody a four-wheel drive vehicle. Just about everybody has either a UTV or an ATV and a patrol vessel, whether it's a full size boat, a john boat. Um, we give them special equipment. Some guys have, um, I say guys, but we've got several ladies now that work as game wardens across the state. We've got drones, special infrared drones we're using now, which is a really good tool.
That does
Uh,
like the heat signature stuff, right? Is that what they pick up on
yes,
like at night and stuff? Okay. That is
we'll
really neat because it's
we'll
kind
use
of,
that a lot. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just thought it was really neat. They're utilizing drones now. And that's,
Yeah. That's something we use a lot because we'll get a lot of calls for missing hunters or people have gone missing on an ATV trail or something like that. And so we can put the drone up and help locate them very quickly. Um, we've got a K-9 program, which has been about 2 years in existence. We started it up. I think we've got three or four K-9s across the state. They're really good to help us with our cases and the school events. They're really good. The kids love to see those dogs out there, so it's a big thing for us. These are some pictures of things we do. Again, there's some of the wardens doing some youth events where we'll go out and do hunter education with. A lot of times, if we have a hunter education program, uh, we'll go out. We want the kids to see us as being part of the community, and that's a great way to get them to know those kids. Sometimes we got to do like surveillance in this picture on the left. There have been times that I've laid on bait sites for hours and hours just to catch somebody, and this is where it's a little bit different than a lot of police. Some of your police agencies, you may make a case really quickly. And then a lot of hunting stuff, we may work on this for months, even years. I've had a case where I worked for 2.5 years on commercial cases. And that seems to be the bigger violations we see is commercial activity in the wildlife, especially with the internet and the
Hmm.
trade. Um, for instance, several years ago, the starting bid on eBay for a elk 5x5 or 6x6 elk rack was $5,000 starting bid. Um, when you're talking about a bear gallbladder, they were being sold illegally for some of them $10,000. So the illegal trade and some of this stuff is huge out there. We do boater education also, just like the hunter education. We teach the boater education classes. This picture in the middle, everybody's heard or seen a video of the deer decoy. Somebody shooting it. It's very effective. These robot deer we put out there and we control them, and we'll use them for high activity areas where we get complaints of poaching, maybe spotlighting, shooting from the road. They're very effective. And obviously on the right, you see us on our patrol boats. We spend a lot of time in the summer on those for checking licenses, creel, and then also doing boating enforcement. Here's some cases that the wardens have made for illegally poaching. One of the things that in our statutes allows us anything that is part of the poaching case we can seize, whether it's the animal or any part of it, any weapons that are used or vehicles. And so, we try to encourage the hunters to do it right because it doesn't pay off if you get caught. I mean, it can be very expensive. You can also lose your hunting rights for up to 3 years. And it's just, like I said, we try to educate the public on doing it right. Just some of the background, if you're interested, we start out our starting officer one or warden one is at 46,856 plus a training stipend. And many police agencies across the state get a training stipend, and it's just extra money that you get for going to the training. You're required to go to the training anyway, but it was put into statute several years ago, so really you're getting both of those together. We work a 37 and a half to 40-hour week, and you can always gain some comp time. So most of our wardens have plenty of time that you can take off. The problem is finding time to take off. So um, I currently have probably I could take off about 3 years
Ooh.
between sick time, comp time, uh, but I won't use all that. Obviously, some of it'll go toward my retirement. Um, I'll talk a little bit about retirement because that's a big thing with law enforcement these days. When I started, we had 20-year retirement, and that was very appealing. So I'm in that part, but any new hires fall under what's called the Tier 3 retirement for the state government. Um, they do like a 401k. I guess the state puts money into an account, and so you're not receiving a defined amount of money. It's the 401k, whatever money is made in that over a career. So it's a little different. Um, their benefits are a little different. Like my insurance will be paid and my family's for life, up to age 25 for my kids. Once I retire, the new hires, they get a portion of their insurance paid for. We offer state life insurance. We offer health insurance. Like I said, it's very flexible. If a warden tells me, "Hey, I've got a family event coming up tomorrow, can I take off?" It's very easy for to take a day off like that. And we all kind of help each other. If somebody needs to take off, the warden in the next county over will help. And I usually play this at the end of it. This is our, it's I guess we call it Game Warden Creed now. If you want me to give a little play on it,
Go ahead.
y'all, everybody hears the state police creed of what it means to be. So I'll go ahead and play this. If hopefully it'll play all right for us.
Yeah, it should. I haven't opened a link inside of a presentation, but I think it should.
Customize and save. Yeah, it'll pass it. So
I can't see it, but I think I can hear it.
okay, I'm not sure how I can share it with you.
Don't maybe if you can screen share out of this one, it should let you. You should be able to go into it that way. Like if it pulled it up on YouTube, so go to share and then off of this one, like we did previously, then you should be able to go into it that way. Good.
Well, yeah, it's got the share button, but it doesn't have me a. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to show like that. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll figure it out together.
Okay. Or if I click share, it just wants me to embed it or copy it, and I'm not sure that's going to let you see it that way.
No, I can. I heard it playing, but I can't see the video. If
Okay.
you go
I
ahead.
can just play it and let them listen to it. I mean, it's one of our wardens, our local wardens that's doing it.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and let me start it over now. Well, let me try this one more time here.
If you have it pulled up on YouTube, I think you can exit out of this screen sharing and then you can pull it up the YouTube on the other screen. There we go.
Okay, now, okay. So you want me to click on share?
Yeah, and see if we can pull it. It'll pull up the YouTube. It might.
Yeah. I don't think this is even the right one.
It
Okay.
will.
Can you see it now? Nope.
No, no. Your face is bright
Oh,
red, so I know you're on YouTube, but it won't.
okay. Well,
If you want to play it, I think you can. We can hear it.
yeah.
I can't hear it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. I know if
Hi,
it was
if you
low.
want to
Please stop.
send
I
Hayden
am
the
part of a
link,
select group sworn to uphold the laws of our state,
Still can't
including
hear you?
those that
No,
ensure
I can hear it
general
now.
hunting, fishing, and boating for years to come. There are
Okay.
many that share the
Well,
brotherhood of law enforcement, but few that can call.
no, I'm sorry. What I'll do is I'll send it to you.
And just say
And
to
that,
send me the link, and I can add it to this, so we
okay.
can definitely. Is anyone Camille? Do you have any questions? Ian, do you have any questions?
No, he did a great job though.
I
I'm
think so
sure
too.
I'm sure somebody has questions out there. I mean, we get a lot of questions, and whether it's about fishing, hunting, boating, whatever, I'll try to answer it.
I had one. I have one
Okay.
good heavy hitting question. What motivated you to become a game warden? See, I had this, I say conservation officer, but I know that's not the right terminology. So, game warden.
So I'll give you a hint how I started. So my sister Camille and I both worked at the state park as lifeguards. And in the evenings, I would stop and talk to the park ranger. And I really got interested in becoming a park ranger with him. And so when I did get hired as a park ranger, I worked at Greenbow several,
Mhm.
and I worked a lot of night shifts. And it was kind of slow, and So the game wardens would usually stop in and we'd talk a little bit, and sometimes I would get out and ride with them. So they really got me hooked on the job. And first opportunity, that's when I transferred over to the department.
So you had a few ride-alongs with game wardens. You said, "Okay, I want to do this."
I did. I was pretty well instantly hooked, and it's my I was always interested in biology, and
Mhm.
the law enforcement aspect of it was really interesting. So it for me it was the best of both worlds.
I got you. Um, I don't have any more questions, but I wanted to say again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us and students as well. And I'm sure there'll be parents also watching this because, again, you're in a very interesting field. And I think there's going to be a lot of students that are going to find this very rewarding because there's a lot of information I didn't know. So, I learned a lot. And I'm sure Camille learned a lot too, even though she's your sister, she still knows. But yeah, again, thank you so much. I don't have any other questions at this time. And I
Thank you for
appreciate
the
you meeting
opportunity.
with me.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Then I will give you, I have your email. So if anyone, any seniors or anything wants it, if you don't mind, I will give them your email. I
Sure.
do, like I said, I have two students. We have two that are interested. I know them personally, so I will definitely get them. If they have any questions, get in touch with you.
I will say this, we do for people that are seriously interested, we do some ride along programs. We just have them fill out a form that's
Mhm.
certified, and we'll get them as quick as we can. We'll get them
Awesome. So that'll be
group.
good. That's a good answer. Make sure you really want to do it. Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. I can tell them about that opportunity. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, bye, Mills.
Bye.